All right, so it looks like it is now officially over, the Microsoft press conference. I gotta say, I am pretty impressed with what I was able to see today. Let's just start with the very beginning of the press conference before they did anything else. Looks like they have a brand new Xbox One coming out, the Xbox One Slim, coming out in August at $299. I think what I also saw there was, better interior, meaning a better graphics card, better RAM, better CPU. Um, can't complain with anything about that. However, there is something that is kind of bugging me about this, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Um, it, just the way how it looked, though, it looked really nice, and honestly, maybe that's how they should have started it with. But I think they were kind of having an identity crisis during the beginning of their lifespan with the Xbox One. That is not the car I wanted. Anyway, as the press conference went on, we also had some new trailers, some new gameplay videos that came from these games. We have ones from Gears of War 4. That was highly expected and also anticipated as well. The game looks great. Looks like it runs real smooth. Gotta get my truck here real quick. Um, Nothing. I've never played Gears of War 4, but again, if they did some weird sort of bundle thing for the Xbox One, I wouldn't, you know, I would like to play those games without spending too much money. Next was the one that I was really looking forward for, which was Forza Horizon 3 coming out in September 27th of this year. Um, Setting is now going to be in, what do they say, Australia. And I think that's a really good choice for them, honestly, is to put it in Australia. I think just because the outback, and you still have the city. It all works and it all ties together, I think, pretty well. So kudos to them for that. That was the one game, honestly, from Microsoft that I was really hoping to see more gameplay of, some good footage. And when they said there's going to be this amount of cars coming out from more cars than ever from the original Horizon series. I can't complain about that because I just love the diversity of the vehicles. Next, we had Recore. And if I remember correctly, Recore was also at last year's E3. No one really knew what it was other than some indie title. And, from what I can understand of it, for me, it's still kind of unsure. I'm a little bit unsure what it's supposed to be or exactly what it is. But I cannot say that it doesn't look interesting at all. It looks actually very interesting. And then I figured Sony would be all over this, but Final Fantasy 15, with actual gameplay, it looked magnificent. The characters were nice and crisp. Square Enix did a really good job. But it's making me wonder though if since Square Enix did Final Fantasy 15 at the Xbox conference, is it possible that they're gonna maybe show a Kingdom's Heart 3 at the Sony press conference? I think since they showed that, that is a high probability of them doing that, just because they did show Final Fantasy 15 at the Microsoft press conference. But I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Um, Tekken 7, when they showed the CG trailer for it, and then then it just went really quick into the actual gameplay of the game. That was a very, very smooth transition, and everything looked so smooth and crisp. It didn't look really jerky that much compared to some other games that recently have come out. I don't have any complaints for it. I'm not much of a fighting game person, but just watching it kind of made me feel like, okay, I can get into this sort of thing. The combo combinations are. are a little bit tricky for me to figure out in those sort of games. But I mean, I'm always up for new things and trying new things. And Tekken 7, I mean, it looked fantastic. It looked really, really good looked really good. And also, just another genre of games, if you will, that I'm not really into are the zombie games. However, I've always kind of had this weird thing about Dead Rising. When they showed Dead Rising 3, I think 2 years ago as a launch title for the Xbox One, I currently couldn't afford an Xbox One at this point, but I told myself if I ever did, maybe I'll get into it. And the only reason why I would get into a game like that is just simply because it's kind of has like this Saints Row feeling to it for me. Um, I say that just because it just looks absolutely ridiculous and crazy, and it doesn't look like it takes itself too seriously. I mean, in this fourth installment, watching the trailers, it looks exactly the same way as I would predict it and say it was. I mean, it look. I mean, there's a candy cane gun and just some other stuff going on. I mean, I don't understand what's going on in there at all. But I mean, it's a stupid, fun zombie game, it looks like, and those I can probably get into because I'm not into the horror or anything like that. It's just kind of nuts for me. Anyway, oh god, come on. There we go. Next I had written down was Sea of Thieves. I forgot about this game until I was reading some other things earlier this morning. Move out of my way. I like the pirate games. I like any sort of pirate game. I mean, I loved what was it? Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag. The most memorable parts for me was not doing the main missions or anything like that. Was just actually, being on the boats and having your what is it? Your crew singing some shanties and stuff like that. Those were my favorite parts of that game, and just having a whole game based around this, and Rare doing it of all people, and it looks absolutely beautiful and stunning. I mean, I wish they would give out a little bit more information, like a release date or something like that, but maybe we'll get something later this week about it. But that game in itself, I was very impressed. I can't wait to see more videos on it. Let's see, what else do we have? Well, I mean, let's do this real quick. Like I said at the very beginning of this video, they're releasing a brand new Xbox S or Xbox Slim, if you will. However, when there was rumors going around, there was going to be a Xbox Scorpio. This now got officially confirmed at the very end of the Microsoft press conference, and that's not being released until the very end of the holiday of 2017. Now here's the problem that I'm having right now. I was all on board for maybe purchasing the new Xbox S until they said holiday of 2017. I think releasing those two that close is kind of a danger zone, honestly. Because if it's me, I would wait until the Scorpio came out, because the specs on that thing are gonna be crazy. I mean, that it looks and sounds like it's gonna be like a really high powered PC, if you will. They're claiming it's gonna be more powerful than the PlayStation Neo, but we'll see. And that's how I feel about the Scorpio. I would rather have the Scorpio than the Slim. I would rather wait that year, save the money, and then buy the Scorpio than wait for a couple more months for the Slim to come out and then buy the Slim. But that's my personal opinion about that. But Scorpio, I think, is probably the better way to go at this point. Anyway, real quick, let's talk about the Ubisoft press conference coming up in just a few minutes. Anything coming up that has not been leaked, I doubt it. I mean, we know Watch Dogs 2 is a thing. If I had to guess, we're going to get a bigger in-depth conversation about what Watch Dogs 2 is. We might get something a little bit more about the crew, which is currently what I'm playing right now. I do like their new expansion, the Wild Run. I really think it needed it, and the graphic updates really did help the game out a lot. Um, what else could we see? I don't know. I mean, maybe we can see something like Mexico or Canada being kind of thrown in there. I mean, that would really expand the game for what it is. More vehicles as well. Maybe probably a little easier way to earn some money as well. I mean, it's kind of a grind. It's not too bad, but it is kind of a grind sometimes to get some of the higher end, monster trucks and drag vehicles and drift vehicles. Because I mean, I think the drag vehicles are like $500,000. Um, so maybe if they came out with a new system like that instead of using microtransactions. But I know definitely Watch Dogs. I know maybe possibly the Crew, and also Tom Clancy. I mean, this is going to be a given that Tom Clancy is going to be thrown around. I mean, almost every single time Ubisoft does a E3 conference, Tom Clancy is somewhere around here, and I can almost guarantee that there's going to be a Tom Clancy either new announcement or something about Ghost Recon or something about the expansion for what was it? The Division. And that's pretty much what I can say about that. I mean, I would not be surprised if that happened. Anything else from Ubisoft? I know they're not doing an Assassin's Creed this year, so they might do something about an Assassin's Creed movie coming out later this year. But that's pretty much it, you guys. I mean, Ubisoft's coming up real soon, so let's just keep an eye out for that and see what's going on. Once again, this is GIBBANATER keeping you guys up to date on the E3 conferences, my opinions, and I will see you guys after this conference, and then we'll get ready for the Sony conference. Peace out.